press this button. I usually bring it up to 12. And we're pumping. Hold on, let me show you. So I usually do this for around 15 minutes. I'd say I do it once or twice a day. I finally have the hands-free bra. I don't know what to call this. Hands-free breast pump bra. Which means I can eat while making food for the baby. And I can also work. I actually don't get to eat meals on time anymore. Because the baby likes to wake up whenever it's meal time. So yeah. Check out my nails. Nails of the week. So I actually want to preface this video by saying that I'm not sharing my story because I want to encourage you to follow how I got to breastfeeding successfully or increasing my milk supply. And I'm also not saying this because I want to set a standard of how I think you should feed your children and whatnot and whatever. I wanted to share my side of the story, how I got to where we are right now, and I just kind of wanted to talk about my postpartum experience. I love you. So I'm almost a month postpartum, which means our little Nola North is about to be 1 month old. That's how much you're gonna be. That's how big you are. You're a month old. Thankfully, so far, my breastfeeding journey has been pretty good, if I'm being completely honest. We have decided to feed North 3 ways, which is direct latching or straight from my boob. I also pump. So I pump and then I freeze it, or I pump and I store it in the fridge, which later is bottle fed to him. And we also include 1 serving of formula milk every day, as per advice of our pediatrician. So there are very specific reasons why I chose to do the 2 types of feedings, which are the bottle feeding with my breast milk and the formula feeding. So I want to talk a little bit about the 2 types of feeding that we've chosen to go for, aside from the direct latch, which are the bottle feeding with my breast milk and also the formula feeding. I honestly could just direct latch North if I wanted to, but I don't want to because it was really important for me that Paulo, my husband, could also be able to feed our son. So the best options for that are obviously to pump my milk so that he could feed North. And aside from that, our doctor also advised that we formula feed our son at least once a day as like a quote-unquote dessert. My breastfeeding journey has had its ups and downs, but for the most part, it has been it's been okay. North is fed, and that's the most important thing. On the first day, maybe up until like the first week of his birth, we did have a little bit of problems because North's latch is amazing. In fact, when he was brought in to the recovery room, we had no problems at all teaching him how to latch. He actually found my boob on his own and just started sucking. It was pretty strong at first, and there was very little milk supply that I ended up with bleeding nipples, so I was prescribed with nipple cream or lanolin cream, and I was also instructed to invest in breast shields and breast covers. So breast shields are sort of like these very thin pieces of silicone that go over your nipples that allow you to breastfeed without as much pain. And in between feedings, I would also wear my breast cover or breast guard, nipple guard. I'm kind of confused with what it's called. And those are a great way to protect my nipples from chafing and touching my bra. And it just really helped with the healing process. So after, I'd say like a week or so, my nipples were better and I could raw dog feedings with North. Yeah, so those are the 3 things that helped me get by as I was increasing, or as I continued to breastfeed North, especially at the start of my journey. To be honest, I have been doing some things in order At least I think that would help increase my breast milk supply. But I don't actually know if that works or not, because I think also at the end of the day, if you really have milk, you have milk. And if you don't, then maybe there are ways to increase it. But if wala gyud kay milk, I think sometimes wala gyud kay milk, and that's okay. That's just your body. A lot of people say that these things have helped them increase their milk supply. I kind of just don't know, but I do it anyways. So I've been taking a bunch of supplements in order to quote unquote increase my milk supply, and some of them include malunggay capsules. I have some raspberry tea, cocoa, I have malunggay coffee, malunggay everything. I have lactation cookies that are made out of oat, and a lot of other things that can also increase your milk supply. There's a lot of malunggay. Baho na jud kay kog malunggay po.
Just a bit lang.
Like everything I eat is malunggay, my god. And I've been taking a lot of soup and also a lot of liquids. It's been interesting so far. I can't say that I really enjoy it all the time, but I take it anyways because that's what's good for the baby. North is just sitting on my lap. He's so cute and he's breastfeeding. As you saw earlier, I also have started pumping, which is kind of controversial because some people, or most people, will actually say to wait until you've reached 6 weeks of postpartum before you start pumping. But I actually started pumping right off the bat. So the moment I was roomed in after delivery, I was already told to start pumping. And these instructions were actually straight from the delivery room or the... What are you doing, North? I actually did bring my haka and my pump, or my electric pump, to the hospital, and I ended up trying both. And at the time, nothing really came out. I eventually did stop using the haka. I didn't really like using the haka so much because I kind of find it annoying. Maybe because I don't know how to place it on, or I never really tried hard enough. But at the same time, I didn't like it as much because I kind of just like was impatient and I never felt fully relieved by it. And also, I heard that a lot of women would catch their letdown and then simply put it in the fridge, and then when it's time to feed again, they would take it out and then just add more milk to what they had already collected. We were very uncomfortable with the thought of it because we kind of felt like we would be contaminating the milk. It was just a lot, honestly, and I kind of didn't want to pressure my husband to have to like wash and sterilize all the time. And pumping honestly just helped me so much because I did have quite a lot of milk. I was aware of the fact that I could get mastitis because of that, and so something that my pediatrician told me was to pump for relief, never to completely empty my breast, and of course, if ever I wanted to have a schedule and stuff like that, to really commit to like, you know, pumping every 2 hours and stuff like that, because if I don't, then I would possibly be exposing or risking myself to getting mastitis. But right now I really just pump for relief, and North eats a whole lot, so I don't really have a pumping schedule. So right now I have the haka, which we've retired, unfortunately. We have the Spectra 1, which is from my sister-in-law. We borrowed it from her. And I also got a hands-free wireless breast pump, which is the Yuha, which I haven't used yet, but I eventually got it on sale for 1,000 pesos instead of like 3,500. I found it when I was scrolling on Facebook late one night and she was selling it for cheap, so I got it. Yay. He is a little cranky poop. So I think I'm in a better place now to talk about how I feel, especially opening up a little bit more about my cesarean section, because I did mention in my previous vlog that for some reason I just wasn't okay with talking about it, and I didn't really understand why. But yesterday, after posting my previous vlog where I finally admitted that I did get a cesarean section, a good friend of mine reached out And I think I was able to like sort of verbalize how I was feeling. I guess that just kind of made things a little bit clearer for me. I'm currently packing away some sleep suits that no longer fit North, and it's breaking my heart. But I think the reason why it was kind of hard for me to talk about being a CS mom and just going through the whole situation was mostly because if we're talking about the pinakamabaw nga reason, the one that requires the least amount of emotions to like explain and verbalize to people, it's mostly because it was my very first operation. So seeing something like a scar on my body really freaked me out so much. I kind of felt like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened to me. And I was just scared that I would like do something to it, which actually not taking care of it or not wanting to look at my scar eventually led to me ruining it or worsening the situation. So I had to go back on my antibiotics and stuff like that. Basically, I wasn't taking care of it, and there was also miscommunication between me, the resident doctor, and my OB. So I ended up not following the right instructions. So my scar kind of didn't heal the right way, and it was kind of wet, and it kind of reopened a bit. So that was that. But I think that was mostly because I was scared to look at it, which eventually made it worse. I think that's like the easiest thing for me to say to people, but also like, if I'm being completely honest, I was really disappointed in myself because I was a CS mom. When I say it out loud now, I realize how stupid that is, but that's something that kind of was at the back of my mind, that I was really disappointed in myself because I kind of really set myself up to deliver naturally. I kind of felt bad that it was because of me that we ended up spending so much more than what we were supposed to spend. But you know, that is a reality, but I still felt really bad about it. I think it's just stupid things like that that I think really got to me for, I'd say, like a couple of days. I'm doing pretty well now. I finally started looking at my tahi, taking care of it, and I think it's healing pretty well. I do have a doctor's appointment on Monday, so we'll see how that goes. I remember someone telling me, and this is something I always try to remind myself of, the only thing that really matters is my family, and everything else is background noise. I just have to remember that when everything gets hard, and I just have to keep doing what I'm doing and just trust in myself and my instincts and in the people who I trust to help me. And I do have a very good support system. I have people who I'm comfortable asking help from, and I'm very grateful for them. So what's next for me is basically just trying to cope with being a new mom. I'm just gonna enjoy my little Northy Poop, who is turning a month old very soon, and I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and everything else is background noise. I hope that you guys like this video and my rawness that does not involve crying, I think, for the very first time. I hope you guys like moments like this where I'm just like ruminating and sharing my thoughts and sharing little snippets of our life. And if you like, subscribe and follow, you might see more of it. I'm hoping to get back on by Hannah very soon, but I am going to enjoy videos like this in the meantime while I am still setting everything up. Don't forget to follow me on my socials. I'm Issaplease, and I'll catch you in the next video. Don't forget, knowledge is power. Bye!